Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to show you an example setup of flip fluid that's taking advantage of geometry nodes and Sverchok nodes to colorize the fluid. Okay, so the setup is actually pretty simple. I have a bunch of cube over here. They are actually just an inflow objects. So each one of the objects have color. Okay, let's see. So each one of them have different color attributes. This is something that you can modify manually, but I will be using Sverchok nodes to adjust the color. We have fluid domain objects that's already set up, so the surface will mix the color using mixbox. So I talked about mixbox in the previous video. And I have these obstacles objects. The design of these obstacles could be better, but basically you have like, if you have like a curve object, for example, you can use geometry nodes just to extrude it, so the fluid will fall nicely. While with the color attributes itself, okay, this has been randomized using Sverchok. This is actually pretty easy. You just right click and copy the full data path, and then you paste it in here. So I have shown you this technique a couple of times in the past. So the first part is the actual objects itself, so I can delete that. The second part is the attributes of the objects. So we have 15 inflow objects. I just grab it using object data and then just pipe it in, while the color itself can be randomized. So if I started with this color, for example, if I reset the color, so currently the color is like pastel-y. If I increase the saturations, it's gonna be less pastel-y, and I just randomize the seed. You can see the color is changing there. So you can actually have like a kind of like a rainbow color as well. If you just instead of random, you map it with a color that goes from certain range. Let me try. So min and max. So range number. So if it's like a float with a step, yeah, okay, something like that. I'll try in a bit. So we have a fluid coming down from the inflow objects. This one is still random, but if we use this number range, plug this into the hue. So this, if we use the stethoscope nodes, you can see the color between 0 and 1. This value goes up. In the increments, you can then reset the bake once again. So wait until around there. Just stop the bake. See, we have like a random, like a rainbow color, because it's using this value to control the hue. And if you want, you can also use random number. For example, we have 15 inflow objects in this case. Each one of them can have different seed. And then this goes into the color in nodes, this goes into the value. Reset the bake and bake again. So the setup, it's becoming pretty robust. I saw videos on YouTube or TikTok actually doing this type of experiment with real paint. I mean, real paint is nice, it's physical, but if you can do it using Blender, why waste a lot of paint? Just create a simulations, right? So yeah, that's the idea. If I want to rebuild this from scratch, I can do that pretty easily, I think. Let me save this very quickly. Maybe this will take a while, or it might crash. Let's just try. Okay. Simulations can be anything. I mean, we're gonna create, okay, first of all, domain object. The fluid needs to be inside. So I have flip fluid, the latest version of flip fluid already installed. Create domain. We're gonna create some obstacles objects. Okay, let's try cylinder so it's less boring. Rotate it in X 90 degrees. This can be more interesting, I guess. SY, scale in Y. This is gonna be the obstacles objects. And icosphere can be the inflow objects. Just gonna create 3 inflow objects for now. And this guy is gonna be inflow. So fluid will fall. And we're gonna have simulations. We're gonna have color blending together. So select the domain objects for now. And with flip fluid surface, we're gonna turn on color attribute, enable mixing using mixbox. So that's fine, and then we can test it out. First of all, this objects needs some kind of color. So by default, if we have like, this is gonna be red, for example, this is gonna be yellow. If this is gonna be blue, then it's gonna mix together the color. Just gonna bake it in. Shouldn't take too long time. Okay, stop the simulations. We have the fluid objects. I'm just gonna use basic material. And the fluid objects, if you look at the attributes, we have this flip color. So attribute, type in flip color, plug this color there. Okay, yeah, it needs to be cycles. EV actually will work as well, but yeah, you can see the color mixing. So that's the basic setup. The fluid is a little bit kind of thick, but let's see. Okay, move this into new collection so it's nice. So it's going to be inflow objects. So inflow collections, let's say we want to have a bunch of these fluid objects. Randomize the position a little bit so it's a little bit more random. It's gonna fall, it's gonna create the simulations for us. Reset the simulations, reset the bake, save this as new blend files. Okay, remember the drill. We need to randomize the color attributes or manually change it, but we want to do it with nodes. I'm using sphere chalk because geometry nodes probably can do it, but since this is just an attribute already, I use sphere chalk. So sphere chalk is like kind of a higher hierarchy nodes. Okay, it's kind of interesting that we have this. Okay, set attributes. Object ID set. Okay, object ID. Pass in the object, get the attribute, paste it here. We just want the name of the attributes. It's expecting color. We have 9 objects. Okay. Then we need to use color in. It's taking RGB HSV. We can use HSV. Get rid of the alpha. You see the color is becoming black. We need to change this value. And then random number. So we use float. We have 9 objects. Plug this into the hue. Randomize the seed. You can see now the color is different for each one of this guy. bake the simulations. If we want to increase the resolution of the domain, you can do that from here. You can use flip or APIC. APIC I think is good for smaller fluid simulations. 100 frames already baked. I like it when the fluid just dripping down like that. There. So the light. So this is the default light. It's not bad. I mean, but we still need that. We want to have like a sky or texture or different lighting. But anyway, just create another sun. So that's basically the idea. If we want to have more fluid, duplicate it. Now we have 18 objects. The sun, just put the sun into the default collections, main collections. This is the inflow objects. Select the inflow objects, get the selection. We have 18 different color now that needs to be adjusted. Okay, each one already have different color. Reset simulations, bake. It's just a matter of how you randomize the setup. Maybe change the obstacles objects into different shapes and just rerun the simulations and just wait. Just wait for magic to happen. Yep, okay, we have fluid. It's mixing together. Yeah, it reminds me of a candle. Yeah, it looks a little bit like candles design. And the color can be randomized at any time, so you're not wasting real paint. You're just using Blender computer simulations, flip fluid simulations, and you have all kind of different colorful design. I call it design. It's just the result of simulations. But yeah, that's basically the setup. It's pretty simple, like I said. This one is doing the magic. Sphere chalks is changing the attributes color of each one of them. You can also use Python, typing in Python, but this is the basic idea. Alright, so yeah, hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.